Igor and Grichka Bogdanoff were twin brothers known for their controversial work in theoretical physics and their distinctive appearances. The brothers claimed to have made groundbreaking discoveries in cosmology and quantum mechanics, including theories about what happened before the Big Bang. They gained fame in France as television presenters, hosting a popular science fiction show called Temps X in the 1980s. Some supporters argue that the brothers' unconventional approaches led to insights overlooked by mainstream science. Their academic credentials have been questioned, with debates arising over the validity of their doctoral theses and peer-reviewed papers. The Bogdanoffs' physical appearances, which changed dramatically over time, fueled speculation about plastic surgery and became the subject of internet memes. A conspiracy theory known as the Bogdanoff Affair suggests the brothers had secret control over global financial markets. Proponents of this theory point to the brothers' claimed connections with powerful figures and their alleged ability to manipulate cryptocurrency prices. Despite criticism from many in the scientific community, the Bogdanoffs maintained a dedicated following until their deaths in 2021. Their legacy remains a subject of debate, with some viewing them as misunderstood geniuses and others as skilled self-promoters who blurred the lines between science and pseudoscience. The Illuminati refers to a purported secret society believed by some to control world affairs through governments and corporations, aiming to establish a new world order. This group is said to have originated from the Bavarian Illuminati, an Enlightenment-era secret society founded in 1776. Supporters of this theory claim the Illuminati has infiltrated all aspects of society, including politics, entertainment, and finance. They point to alleged symbols hidden in corporate logos, music videos, and architectural designs as evidence of the group's influence. Some believers argue that many world leaders and celebrities are members, citing hand gestures and symbolic imagery in public appearances. The theory suggests that major world events, including wars and economic crises, are orchestrated by the Illuminati to further their agenda. Proponents claim that the group's ultimate goal is to reduce the global population and create a single world government under their control. Some adherents believe the Illuminati possesses advanced technology and knowledge, potentially including extraterrestrial connections. Certain researchers argue that the group's influence can be traced through historical events and the rise of powerful banking families. Despite widespread dismissal from mainstream sources, the Illuminati theory continues to gain traction through social media and alternative news outlets. The Illuminati are the good guys theory proposes that this secret society actually works towards positive societal change and progress. Proponents argue that the original Illuminati, founded in 1776, aimed to promote Enlightenment ideals of reason, equality, and secular governance. Historical records show the group advocated for human rights, education, and scientific discovery during a time of monarchies and church dominance. Supporters point to the Illuminati's influence on revolutionary movements like the French Revolution and the founding principles of the United States. The theory suggests that the Illuminati's core values align closely with modern humanist organizations and democratic societies. Believers argue that the group's suppression in 1785 led to misrepresentation and villainization by those threatened by their progressive ideologies. Some historians, like Dr. Richard Van Dulman, have documented the Illuminati's genuine mission to spread Enlightenment thought across Europe. The theory posits that the Illuminati's enduring legacy lies in the promotion of rational thought, science, and intellectual freedom. Proponents claim that the group's principles remain relevant in addressing contemporary challenges such as climate change and global health crises. Supporters argue that the popular negative portrayal of the Illuminati reflects societal anxieties rather than factual evidence of malevolent intent. Illuminati blood banks refers to a theory suggesting that the Illuminati maintains secret facilities for collecting and storing human blood. Proponents believe these blood banks serve multiple purposes, including rituals, life extension treatments, and genetic experimentation. Some theorists claim that the Illuminati targets specific blood types or individuals with rare genetic markers for their collections. Supporters point to unexplained disappearances and reports of unauthorized blood draws as potential evidence for these covert operations. The theory often incorporates ideas about vampirism among elite circles, suggesting that consuming human blood grants increased longevity or power. Some believers argue that certain medical facilities and blood donation centers are fronts for these secretive Illuminati operations. Proponents cite historical accounts of blood rituals in ancient cultures as precedent for modern-day practices among secret societies. The theory sometimes intersects with human trafficking conspiracies, suggesting that victims are used as living blood banks. Some adherents claim that the Illuminati uses advanced technology to synthesize blood products with enhanced properties. Believers often link this theory to broader ideas about the Illuminati's pursuit of immortality and superhuman abilities through various means.
Like this video and subscribe to Maker.
The ILOVEYOU hack refers to a computer worm that spread rapidly across the globe in May 2000, causing widespread damage to computer systems. This malicious software disguised itself as a love letter attachment in emails, exploiting human curiosity and trust. When opened, the worm overwrote system files and sent copies of itself to all contacts in the user's address book. The I Love You worm affected an estimated 50 million computers worldwide within just 10 days of its release. It caused billions of dollars in damages and forced many organizations, including the Pentagon and the British Parliament, to shut down their email systems. The creator of the worm, Onel de Guzman, claimed it was an accident resulting from a thesis project gone wrong. Some theorists suggest the worm was actually a test of cyber warfare capabilities by a state actor or hacking group. Proponents of this view point to the worm's unprecedented speed and scale of infection as evidence of sophisticated design. Some experts believe that the I Love You hack served as a blueprint for more advanced cyber attacks in subsequent years. Immortality by digital, or digital immortality, refers to the concept of preserving a person's consciousness, memories, and personality in a digital format, allowing them to continue existing after physical death. Proponents believe that advanced technology will eventually enable the complete mapping and replication of human neural networks. This digitized consciousness could theoretically be uploaded into a computer system, virtual reality, or even a synthetic body. Some researchers are already working on creating detailed brain scans and developing artificial intelligence that can mimic human thought patterns. Companies like Etername and LifeNaut offer services to create digital avatars based on users' social media data and personal information. Advocates argue that digital immortality could preserve human knowledge and experiences indefinitely, contributing to the collective wisdom of humanity. The concept intersects with transhumanist ideas about enhancing human capabilities and extending lifespans through technology. Critics raise ethical concerns about the nature of consciousness and whether a digital copy can truly be considered the same as the original person. Some believe that quantum computing advancements may eventually provide the processing power necessary to simulate complex human consciousness. The potential for digital immortality has inspired numerous works of science fiction, potentially influencing public perception and scientific pursuit of the concept. Incorruptible Saints refers to a phenomenon in which the bodies of certain individuals, often religious figures, allegedly do not decompose after death. This occurrence is recognized by the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches as a potential sign of divine intervention or sainthood. The most famous example is Saint Bernadette of Lourdes, whose body reportedly remains preserved since her death in 1879. Believers point to the visual evidence of these preserved bodies, often displayed in glass coffins, as proof of their incorruptibility. Some cases show bodies maintaining flexibility, lack of rigor mortis, or even bleeding when cut, decades or centuries after death. Proponents argue that the preservation occurs without use of artificial embalming techniques or special environmental conditions. Skeptics suggest natural mummification processes, cool and dry burial conditions, or unacknowledged embalming as possible explanations. The Catholic Church now requires thorough scientific investigation before declaring a body incorruptible, Some researchers propose that certain genetic factors or rare medical conditions might contribute to natural body preservation. The phenomenon continues to attract pilgrims and researchers, blending religious faith with scientific inquiry into post-mortem biology. Incunabula refers to books printed in Europe before 1501, during the earliest period of the printing press. These texts represent a pivotal transition from handwritten manuscripts to mass-produced printed books. The term comes from the Latin word for cradle, signifying the infancy of printing technology. Incunabula are highly valued by historians and collectors for their rarity and historical significance. The Gutenberg Bible, printed around 1455, is one of the most famous examples of Incunabula. These early printed works played a crucial role in spreading knowledge and increasing literacy rates across Europe. Many Incunabula feature unique typographical characteristics and illustrations that provide insights into early printing techniques. Some scholars believe that studying Incunabula can reveal important information about cultural and intellectual trends of the 15th century. The production of Incunabula contributed to the standardization of languages and the preservation of classical texts. Certain conspiracy theories suggest that some Incunabula contain hidden codes or esoteric knowledge deliberately concealed by early printers. Induced amnesia theory refers to the idea that humans are already immortal, but our memories are repeatedly wiped clean, creating the illusion of finite lifespans. Proponents of this theory argue that our consciousness is eternal, but a recurring amnesia effect prevents us from remembering our past existences. This concept draws parallels with the philosophical idea of eternal recurrence, where the universe and all existence are thought to repeat infinitely. Some supporters point to the phenomenon of déjà vu as potential leaks in the memory wipe process, allowing glimpses of past lives or iterations to seep through. The theory also aligns with certain interpretations of quantum immortality, suggesting that consciousness persists across multiple universes or timelines. Advocates often cite cases of past life memories, near-death experiences, and unexplained phobias as potential evidence of incomplete memory erasure. Some speculate that this induced amnesia could be a self-protective mechanism of consciousness, preventing the mind from being overwhelmed by infinite memories. Others propose it could be an externally imposed system, perhaps by advanced beings or a simulated reality, to maintain the structure of perceived reality. The theory intersects with various religious and spiritual beliefs about reincarnation and the cyclical nature of existence. Infinite zoom refers to a theory that the universe contains endless layers of reality, each nested within the other, without a definitive smallest or largest scale. Proponents argue that this concept applies to both the microscopic and macroscopic realms, suggesting that every particle contains its own universe. Some supporters point to fractal mathematics and self-similar patterns in nature as evidence for the possibility of infinite zoom. The theory proposes that what we perceive as fundamental particles may actually be complex systems when observed at an even smaller scale. Advocates suggest that our universe might be a particle within a larger universe, which itself could be part of an even larger structure. Some researchers in quantum physics have proposed models that align with aspects of the infinite zoom concept, such as the holographic principle. Believers argue that this theory could explain certain inconsistencies in our current understanding of physics and cosmology. Some proponents claim that experiences during meditation or altered states of consciousness provide subjective evidence for infinite zoom. Critics of the theory argue that it violates known physical laws and lacks empirical evidence, but supporters maintain that our current scientific tools may be insufficient to detect these nested realities. Inner Earth Sun refers to a theory proposing the existence of a miniature sun at the center of our planet, illuminating a vast underground world. Proponents of this idea suggest that the Earth is actually hollow, with openings at the poles leading to an interior realm. This internal sun is believed to provide light and warmth to subterranean ecosystems and civilizations. Supporters often cite ancient myths and legends from various cultures that describe underground worlds as evidence for this concept. Some adherents point to the Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis as potential manifestations of the inner sun's energy escaping through the polar openings. Theorists argue that unexplored regions of the Earth, particularly around the poles, could be hiding entrances to this inner world. Proponents sometimes link this theory to ideas about extraterrestrial bases or lost ancient civilizations hidden within the Earth. Some believers suggest that the inner sun could be a source of free energy that could revolutionize human society if harnessed. Critics of this theory argue that it contradicts established geological knowledge and seismological data about the Earth's internal structure. Inorganic beings refers to a theory proposing the existence of entities that lack organic structures but possess consciousness or intelligence. Proponents argue that these beings could exist in forms undetectable by current scientific instruments, potentially operating on quantum levels. Some believers draw parallels between inorganic beings and concepts from various spiritual traditions, such as nature spirits or interdimensional entities. Advocates suggest that inorganic beings might communicate or interact through quantum entanglement, or other poorly understood physical phenomena. The theory often intersects with ideas about non-carbon-based life forms, proposing that consciousness could arise in systems not traditionally considered alive. Some supporters point to unexplained phenomena or personal experiences during altered states of consciousness as potential evidence for inorganic beings. Certain interpretations of quantum physics, such as the participatory anthropic principle, are used to support the possibility of non-biological conscious entities. Proponents speculate that inorganic beings could be responsible for influencing physical constants or other fundamental aspects of the universe. Critics argue that the theory lacks empirical evidence and conflicts with established biological principles of consciousness. Inside Out Earth refers to a theory proposing that we actually live on the interior surface of a hollow sphere, rather than on the exterior of a solid globe. Proponents argue that the entire universe is contained within this sphere, with the sky we see being the center of the Earth. This concept suggests that the horizon's curvature is not due to the Earth's roundness, but to the limitations of our perception inside the sphere. Supporters claim that light bends in long arcs within the hollow Earth, creating the illusion of a vast sky and distant celestial bodies. Some adherents point to mirages and certain atmospheric phenomena as evidence of light behaving in ways that support their theory. Believers argue that this model could explain certain geophysical anomalies and unexplored regions of the Earth. Some proponents suggest that advanced civilizations might inhabit other areas of the inner surface, hidden from our view. The theory sometimes incorporates ideas about alternative physics, proposing that gravity works differently within a hollow sphere. Critics argue that this concept contradicts overwhelming scientific evidence from fields like geology, astronomy, and physics. Interdimensional Bigfoot refers to a theory proposing that the legendary creature known as Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, can travel between different dimensions or realities. Proponents argue that this ability explains why Bigfoot has remained elusive and why physical evidence is scarce. The theory draws on concepts from quantum physics, such as quantum superposition, which suggests particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously. Supporters point to eyewitness accounts describing Bigfoot appearing and disappearing suddenly, as if stepping in and out of our reality. Some Native American tribes have legends of Sasquatch-like beings with the ability to move between realms, lending cultural context to the theory. Advocates argue that interdimensional travel could explain Bigfoot sightings in diverse and distant locations around the world. The concept suggests that Bigfoot might not be bound by the same physical constraints as known organisms, allowing it to evade capture and consistent tracking. Proponents claim that the interdimensional theory could account for the lack of Bigfoot remains or consistent DNA samples. Some researchers propose that advancements in our understanding of quantum mechanics and extra dimensions might eventually provide evidence for this theory. Critics argue that the lack of empirical evidence and the theory's reliance on unproven scientific concepts make it highly speculative. Inunaki Village refers to a legendary abandoned settlement in Japan's Fukuoka Prefecture, said to exist outside the country's legal jurisdiction. The village is rumored to have a sign at its entrance stating that Japan's constitutional laws do not apply within its borders. Stories about Inunaki describe it as inhabited by descendants of outcasts, with tales of inbreeding, cannibalism, and strange rituals. Some believe the village is accessible through the real Inunaki Tunnel, known for reported paranormal activity and ghost sightings. Explorers claim to have found abandoned settlements in the area, which some interpret as possible evidence of the village's existence. Proponents argue that the lack of historical records could be due to the village's isolated nature and resistance to outside authority. Some theories suggest that electronic devices malfunction near the village, explaining the absence of photographic evidence. Skeptics point out that local authorities have denied the village's existence and label it as an urban legend. Inverted humans refers to a fringe theory proposing that some people's internal organs are mirrored or flipped from the standard anatomical arrangement. This condition, known medically as situs inversus, does occur rarely in about 1 in 10,000 people. Proponents claim inverted humans may possess unique abilities or heightened intuition due to their unusual physiology. Some believe inverted humans are descendants of an ancient race or have extraterrestrial origins. Certain alternative medicine practitioners theorize that inverted humans may respond differently to treatments and require specialized care. A few researchers have investigated potential links between organ inversion and neurological differences, though findings remain inconclusive. Inverted universe refers to the theory that our entire reality may be a mirror image or reverse of another universe. This concept draws from the principle of chirality observed in nature, where molecules can exist in left-handed and right-handed forms. Proponents argue that just as biological processes rely on specific molecular orientations, an entire universe could potentially exist in an inverted state. The idea gains traction from the asymmetry observed in particle physics, where certain interactions appear to favor one direction over another. Some physicists speculate that during the Big Bang, our universe and its inverted counterpart may have split, creating two mirrored realities. This theory could potentially explain certain anomalies in cosmological observations and provide insights into the nature of dark matter and dark energy. Iraq Stargates refers to the theory that ancient Sumerian sites in Iraq contain portals for interstellar travel. Proponents claim these stargates were used by ancient Sumerian gods, who were actually extraterrestrial beings. Some researchers point to ancient Sumerian texts describing gods descending from the sky as evidence for this theory. Certain archaeological sites, like the Ziggurat of Ur, are believed by some to be the locations of these stargates. Supporters of this idea cite the US military's interest in Iraqi archaeological sites during the 2003 invasion as potential evidence of Stargate technology. Some theorists connect the concept of Iraq stargates to other ancient astronaut hypotheses and unexplained archaeological phenomena. The idea draws on interpretations of Sumerian mythology and attempts to explain advanced knowledge in ancient civilizations through extraterrestrial intervention. ISUKI refers to the International Society for Underwater Kinetic Intelligence, a purported secret organization dedicated to studying and harnessing the power of underwater movement and communication. Proponents of ISUKI's existence claim that marine animals possess a complex system of kinetic intelligence that allows them to navigate and communicate in ways far beyond current scientific understanding. Some researchers point to unexplained patterns in whale songs and dolphin movements as potential evidence of this advanced underwater kinetic language. ISUKI is said to operate covert underwater research facilities where they attempt to decode and replicate this kinetic intelligence for human use. Supporters of the ISUKI theory cite unexplained sonar anomalies and unusual oceanic phenomena as possible signs of the organization's activities. Some conspiracy theorists believe that ISUKI has made significant breakthroughs in underwater propulsion and communication technologies, keeping these advancements hidden from the public. Italian languages and DNA shaping techniques refers to the hypothesis that speaking different Italian dialects and languages may influence human genetics through epigenetic alterations. This theory proposes that the unique phonetic structures, rhythms, and sound frequencies of Italian languages could trigger changes in gene expression. Proponents point to research on the FOXP2 gene, which is known to influence linguistic capabilities, as evidence of a connection between genetics and language. The concept draws on principles of epigenetics, suggesting that the vibrational energy of spoken Italian languages might cause biochemical changes at a cellular level. Some researchers cite experiments by French virologist Luc Montagnier, which hinted at DNA being influenced by electromagnetic waves, to support this idea. Advocates of this theory argue that preserving linguistic diversity in Italy could have implications for biological richness and potential medical breakthroughs. Jeanne Calment hoax refers to the theory that the woman recognized as the longest-lived human in history was actually her daughter assuming her identity. This theory suggests that Yvonne Calment, Jeanne's daughter, took her mother's place after Jeanne's supposed death in 1934. Proponents point to inconsistencies in Jeanne's physical appearance and memories as evidence of the alleged switch. Some researchers argue that Yvonne had financial motives to assume her mother's identity, as it would have allowed her to avoid inheritance taxes. Supporters of this theory claim that Jeanne's extraordinary longevity of 122 years is statistically improbable and lacks sufficient scientific explanation. Certain analysts have noted discrepancies in Jeanne's reported height over time, which they argue could indicate a different person assuming her identity. Jesus was a magician refers to the theory that Jesus Christ's miracles and teachings were actually the result of advanced magical practices rather than divine intervention. Proponents of this idea point to similarities between Jesus' reported miracles and the tricks performed by ancient magicians and wonder-workers. Some scholars argue that the term magician in ancient times could refer to individuals with access to hidden knowledge or special abilities, not unlike how Jesus was portrayed. Supporters of this theory cite ancient texts that describe Jesus using magical formulas or incantations, suggesting a connection to magical traditions. Some early artistic depictions of Jesus even featured a wand, commonly linked with magicians. The idea draws parallels between Jesus' healings and exorcisms, and those performed by other magicians and holy men of his time. Some researchers point to the use of magical amulets and spells invoking Jesus' name in early Christian practices as evidence of his perceived magical powers. Jews' Conspiracies refers to various theories alleging that Jewish people are involved in secretive plots to control world events. These theories often claim that Jewish individuals or groups hold disproportionate power in finance, media, and government. Proponents point to the historical presence of Jewish people in banking and finance as evidence of their alleged control over global economics. Some adherents argue that certain symbols or numerology in currency and corporate logos indicate Jewish influence. Certain believers even suggest that the documented history of the Jewish people has been doctored to shift public perception of the group. These theories sometimes cite the existence of Jewish advocacy groups as proof of a coordinated effort to shape policy and public opinion. Supporters often interpret the success of individual Jewish people in various fields as evidence of a broader conspiracy. Jews forced to be in power refers to a contrarian theory suggesting that Jewish individuals are compelled into positions of influence against their will. This concept proposes that external forces or historical circumstances have pushed Jewish people into prominent roles in finance, media, and politics. Proponents argue that anti-Semitic policies throughout history forced Jewish communities to develop skills in trade and finance for survival. The theory points to historical restrictions on land ownership and certain professions as factors that channeled Jewish people into specific economic niches. Supporters claim that ongoing societal pressures and expectations continue to funnel Jewish individuals into high-profile positions. This idea challenges both anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and conventional narratives about Jewish success and influence. The theory suggests that Jewish representation in positions of power is a result of complex historical and social factors rather than a coordinated effort.